Hi, it's Kathy Hill, and here I am in person so you can see me start to interact and do things so that you can see who I am and I can see who you are. And some of you have had me before, so you already know all this, so it's probably not as important to you. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kathy Hill, and I am your instructor, professor, teacher, whatever, for criminal law, our little adventure into crime that we're going to do. For those of you who had criminology with me this past mini-mester, you learned a little bit of how we measure crime and look at crime. But now we're going to really look at criminal law, which means looking at how trials are conducted, what crimes and the elements of crimes are. We're going to look at a couple real crimes and real kinds of crimes like murder and sexual offenses and that kind of thing. I grew up, just so you know, in Baltimore County, Maryland. I was close to the steel mills of Bethlehem Steel, and I went to Sparrows Point High School in Baltimore County, and then went to Western Maryland College, which is McDaniel College now. So there you go. And I sat in seats that you probably will sit in or have sat in, depending on if you're home or not home or wherever you are. I actually got out of college, went to law school, and became a litigator, and that's what I did for my career. That's how I made my living. And I was a trial attorney. Criminal was the main part of what I did, but I also, in private practice, also did family law, which are the custodies and the kind of the underbelly of good marriages. It's the bad marriages or the bad relationships or the custody battles or money battles or those kinds of things where one person doesn't like another person. But the criminal side of things, I was a prosecutor for 14 years and then a defense attorney for more than that. So I have been on both sides of the criminal part, both prosecuting, trying to hold people accountable for the criminal behavior that they might have engaged in, and as a defense attorney, trying to maintain the rights and make sure people's rights are not violated on their way in the trial system to either being found guilty or not guilty or something in between, like a plea, that kind of thing. So we'll learn. And I did that all my life, and I taught at night. I started teaching 20 years ago at night, 21 years ago this spring will be, at night. And so when I just stopped in my litigation career because I'm someone who believes that you want to leave when you're top of the game, so that nobody ever is sitting in the back of a courtroom going, oh, there's Kathy Hill. She used to be a really good attorney. Don't want that. That's the boxer who stays too long in, the boxing ring, or the person who stayed too long at the fair, or whatever analogy that you like to use or metaphor that you like to use. I believe that people need to leave while they still have the really good memories, and it's still a really fun thing to do. And I've been so, so lucky to do what I love to do, and also to teach, which I also love to do. So then when I stopped litigating just a few years ago, I decided that, I still love teaching, so why not try to do it during the day? And then I was doing it a couple years, and then COVID hit, so here I am. I'm a beach bum. I love to be near an ocean. The ocean has an ability like no other to calm my soul, to give me peace. So that's where you'll find me. I'm actually in Delaware and at near the beach, and that's, yeah, where I do this from. Um, so I want to make myself available to you all the time that you need. I am available Monday to Friday. I try not to do Zoom calls on the weekend with my students, but anytime during the week that you need me, that you think you're not getting, we don't have any wiggle room. So let me repeat that. For those of you who had me last night, I tried to say it a million times and people still fell behind. Please, 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 you have no time, no wiggle room to not get involved, no wiggle room to say, oh, I don't understand this, so this week I'm not feeling up to it, so maybe I'll do it next week. When you have 7 weeks, you don't have that kind of time, because that's like taking over 2 weeks in a 15-week semester. So that's just not okay to do in this kind of intense situation. So when you're learning things, you need to keep up with your discussion boards that I'm going to post. I will have your syllabus up. I will try to keep you informed. I would like to have our first Zoom meeting next week. So if any of you want to, once I put up the discussion board, to tell me when a good time is. I'm not going to do it at 6:30 to 9:30 at night. I think a lot of you have actually a conflict with another class that's in our criminal justice group of choices, so I don't want to step on those feet. Some of you work, some of you have another class, so I'm thinking that I'd like to meet you during the week. I typically try to do maybe a 1 o'clock or a 3 o'clock, or we can do a 10 o'clock in the morning, or we can do a later afternoon if some of you have a lab course that you have to get to and we want to do it after that. So whatever. And I can do alternating ones so that if one week you can't do it, at least you can come in a second week. So yeah, that's it. And I just wanted to say hi and welcome aboard. And I hope you enjoyed. I try to have fun. And it's really hard to communicate my level of enthusiasm for criminal law. Like, I spent my career doing this. This is what I love. And I want to communicate it to you because I think it's really important to pass the baton to people who are going to use it, evolve, and do even a better job at correcting the things that we do so wrong, ensuring the things that we do right don't get taken away, all of the above. And I want to make sure that all of you get the best education of it so that you feel like you know something that you didn't know when you walked in the door. And I know it's difficult online sometimes to see that enthusiasm that I have for it because I'm not jumping around the classroom. If anyone's had me in the classroom, they know that's kind of what I do. So I have a lot of energy that I have to rein in sometimes. So I hope that you got my level of fun that I always want to have with it from my video, because I do try to keep things a little fun, but I also want to make sure that because we know that we're entering very serious territory, that you truly read your syllabus when I put it up there, because it has the trigger warnings that I really don't need nor want any of you to expose yourself to things that are going to be difficult. And if you have a lot of triggers in your life, do not take this course. I will just tell you that. Don't, because they're difficult topics. They're sometimes hard. They don't have answers a lot of times. They're unsettling. They don't make you all the time feel good about moving forward and where we're going or what we're doing. And sometimes they do. Sometimes there are moments where you go, oh yeah, this is why I do this. Like, this is a case where I got justice for this kid that now gets to live a life that would not have been that same way had you not been involved. But then other times when you fall short of what you like, you really feel pretty miserable about that. So you have to have a pretty good sense of yourself and know that you're not always going to do well. You're not always going to make it better for somebody, but you're going to do your best. And you're going to be satisfied with that at the end of the day. So hopefully you commit to this class, you commit to the next 7 weeks, you hold your nose, you bury yourself, you go in deep, you learn as much as you can, and you come out on the other side with a lot more learning than when you went in. And knowledge is power. So guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. I have posted the very first PowerPoint, and I will post your syllabus and your first assignment, which will be due next week. So we are posting away, so keep an eye on it. I'll also post over the weekend probably your second part of that PowerPoint, because I try to only do my lectures in 15 minutes or less on these videos, because I think it's really hard to follow us after that, especially me, because I talk really fast, and I recognize that. Okay, have a good weekend. Bye.